Sometimes I think our brains hate us. Anybody else ever feel that way? So what I'm going to share with you today are 3 common fallacies that can hurt our relationships. So a fallacy is just a way that our brain lies to us. That's all it is. It's something that we believe, that our brain convinces us is true, but it's not. It's just your brain telling stories. So the first of these is the sunk cost fallacy. A colloquialism for the sunk cost fallacy is throwing good money after bad. And the way that that works in relationships is after we've invested a certain amount of time into somebody, it makes it harder for us to break up with them because we're thinking, I've already given this 6 months, 2 years, a decade. I can't leave now. But it's really a silly way of looking at things, isn't it? Just because you've put time in doesn't mean that you should continue with something if it's not good. I like to compare it to this. Let's say that you buy a set of some kind of class for $100, non-refundable, and there's 10 classes in the set. And you go to the first one and you hate it. You're miserable the entire time. Now, sunk cost fallacy encourages you to continue to go to the classes. After all, you paid for them. It's a waste of money if you don't go, right? But if you go, you're hating every minute of it. That $100 is gone regardless. You cannot get that back, no matter if you go to the classes or not. So why go? So in relationships, it's the same thing. It doesn't advise you to leave or stay. It's just saying, don't look at the time invested as a reason for your decision, because that time is gone, no matter what. Another way that our brain lies to us is with the confirmation bias. Oh, did I do this one in my first marriage? So confirmation bias is this. Once you have a belief or you've made a decision, you then will inadvertently seek out facts, evidence, voices that confirm your opinion or your belief, and you ignore and discount those that are in opposition to what you believe. And most of this happens in the subconscious. This isn't something that we're usually very aware of. And I did this in my first marriage. I wanted to believe that I had made a good choice of a husband. I believed he was a good man, partially because if I chose a good man, well, that reflected well on me, huh? So anything that supported that conclusion that he was a good man, I would see and I would exult and talk about endlessly. And all those things that said, maybe he's not such a good guy after all, didn't even reach my awareness. So we have to be careful in our relationships that we don't put our partners on such a high pedestal that we fail to see them for who they really are. And it's also good to consciously and very intentionally listen to those that you disagree with. Make sure that you're not just surrounding yourself with voices that confirm what you already believe. Listen to those that disagree. Challenge it in your own mind. Make sure that you're seeing the full picture, not just what you want to see. And then one last way that our brains love to lie to us is something called the fundamental attribution error. I know, a bunch of psychobabble there. Here's what that means. It says this: if I do well on a test, I'm going to credit my intelligence with that result. Or maybe, I worked really hard. That's why I did well on the test. But if my neighbor does well on the test, well, they might say, maybe it was an easy test. Or I bet that, they cheated or something like that. We pass it off. And it happens on the flip side. If I fail the test, I'm going to say, it's because I didn't sleep very well, or, I was running late and so I was scattered. It's not because, I don't know the material. But if the person next to me fails, idiot, didn't know anything. That's the fundamental attribution error. We have a tendency to excuse any actions in ourselves. We are ready to come up with other reasons of why something happened other than our character, if it's something negative. And we are more than happy to attribute it to our character if it's something good. And we do the reverse with other people. If they do something bad, well, it's because they're horrible, they're a monster, not because, oh, maybe they just made a mistake. And if they do something good, we're a lot more likely to pass that off as just kind of an accident or a fluke or luck. So in your relationship, you have to be careful with that, because it's so easy to assign intent to something negative that your partner has done instead of giving them the benefit of the doubt and realizing, hey, they're human. They've got bad moments too, just like I do. And on the flip side, it's also important not to allow the fundamental attribution error to pump yourself up that much. You know, yeah, maybe whatever happened was because of your effort, your hard work, your innate traits, whatever it might be. Or maybe that was just luck too. So there it is, 3 ways that our brains like to lie to us. Anybody else mad at your brain?